Hey guys, what's going on? It's Spaceplay 12, or Mitch as you guys know me. For today's morning drive to worship, I have 5 things for not only bass players that are playing for worship, but for anybody who's on the worship team. Just mindsets to have. I'm not going to come across as some expert. I've been doing worship for a long time, but these are just 5 things I would say are super huge. An attitude, a mindset to have, just so that you're in the right mind, the right spirit, as you play for Sunday morning worship. So hopefully, this is something where, you can grab onto 1 or 2, or hopefully all of them, and just be able to go, yep, I know exactly the situation, what you're talking about, Mitch. So here we go. So number 5 would be, and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, your mindset or your attitude, especially for those of you that might have different numbered services, for those of you whose your church attendance fluctuates up and down every week. The number 5 would be play as if you're playing to, the biggest crowd ever. Sometimes we might get caught up in, wow, there's so many people here today. Let's totally rock out. Let's totally worship. Let's totally, you get hyped up. And then if the numbers drop, let's say it's, 50 people, your attitude might be, there's only 50 people here today. And your spirit just hits the tubes and, you're not as hyped. It's like, oh man. And I get what you might say, and I totally agree with those of you that say it's easier when there's a lot of people and the energy in the room is real high, and it's, everybody can feed off of each other's energy. It's real easy to, get that spirit, that attitude, like, yeah. And then, when the numbers go down, and that's something that we struggle with, something we fight with, the attitude of, there's less people than there was last week. I'm not as excited anymore. And that's something where you just have to reach down into your spirit and say, you know what, Lord, I'm playing unto you. I'm playing the best that I can, whether it's 50 or 500. And that's the attitude I'm sure that he is looking for in us. Because, Jesus spoke to thousands of people, and he spoke to the woman at the well. So he knows what it feels like to be able to be in the company of 1, be in the company of 500, 5,000. So I'm sure he would want that same spirit to be unto us, where don't care if it's 1 person or 500. Your attitude should still be, I'm going to do this as best I can. I'm going to worship the Lord no matter how many people are there. So number 5 would just be to tell yourself, you know what, I'm not going to let the congregation numbers, I'm not going to let the congregation energy or spirit determine or dictate what my spirit is. And then, I'm obviously not saying that that's easy. That's something where you just have to kind of give that to the Lord and go, you know what, Lord, help me out here. Help my spirit to be like you would have it to be. So that's number 5. Number 4 would be definitely watch and be aware of yourself on Saturday night. And here's why. The enemy would love to destroy your spirit, because if the enemy can destroy your spirit, he can destroy the spirit of the whole entire worship set, or the worship, whatever that period or that time frame would be. So the enemy would definitely like to work on you the night before, the morning of, because we're always getting constantly attacked as Christians, but especially those that would be in worship. The enemy would love to attack us more, because he knows that if he can attack us, then that directly can affect your Sunday morning worship. So I'm always, not always, but I'm usually in my mind, I'm like, Saturday night, make sure I'm not overly tired, and that's hard because it's the weekend. But to just be aware of what's going on Saturday night, like, you know, if I'm in a attitude of, oh, I'm so tired, it's one of those things where you got to go to sleep, because if you have an argument with your wife or friends and you're tired, that's when it's easy to just let that escalate into something where you wake up Sunday morning and you're just out of it. Your mind is somewhere else. Your mind is thinking about what happened. You guys know when you guys have arguments with your spouse, your arguments with friends, your attitude is just, it's hard to concentrate on anything else but that. So it's usually Saturday night is where the enemy would like to come in and knows you're tired. You might be more argumentative. You might be like, your attitude is just not the greatest, to come in and, set that attitude, set that tone where now Sunday morning you're almost rendered ineffective. So I know for a lot of, pastors don't like to do things Saturday night because they just know, hey, I got a sermon to preach the next day, and they're very aware of what's happening the night before. So number 4 would just be to have a mindset or be aware of what's happening the night before your worship service. That can be any night. If you're having a Friday night worship set, then you might just be aware that Thursday, like, okay, I'm just gonna be a lot more cautious. Not that we're not cautious about the tricks and schemes of the enemy, but you're just more aware. If you're in battle, there's always going to be those times where you're more aware than others. So that's what number 4 would be. Number 3, worship is supposed to be a pleasurable, enjoyable thing unto the Lord. And so don't ever let yourself be overwhelmed with anything to do with, am I going to get the notes right? Am I going to get the timing right? I mean, obviously, yes, we are supposed to be skilled. We're supposed to musically know what we're doing, but don't let the stress of everything, of, the music, don't let the music dominate the worship. Because you're there to worship the Lord. You're not there to, you're not a performer. This is not a concert where, you're having to be perfect. So don't ever have the mindset of, oh my gosh, I'm driving to worship. I need to make sure everything's perfect. I need to make sure I get everything right. I would say to you, the Lord wants your attitude and your heart to be right more than the music to be right. Now, obviously, we're not going to come unprepared. We're not going to come with this attitude like, I didn't even look at the music. I didn't even listen to the song. Obviously, we have to come with a balance. We have to know what we're doing musically. But I've always, when I get caught up in the music and the notes and everything, I just realize that the worship is not as meaningful for me, or I'm just so stressed out that I lose the fact that why I'm there. We're there on the worship team to be leaders, to help usher in the worship of God to the congregation. And if we're up there so stressed, like, am I going to get this right? What am I going to do at this point? Then we start to lose your edge as far as worship leaders. Now you're more of just, now you're more of a concert performer where everything has to be perfect. So that's just my take for number 3, is just remember to not stress out and enjoy the moment of being in a worship set. And number 2, I would say, and this is the one where you got to be careful, but I would say have a humble, quiet confidence. You guys know with anything, confidence is huge when you're doing anything, whether that's learning an instrument, whether that's singing, whether that's, underwater basket weaving. I don't know where that came from, but confidence in anything you do is huge, because that's a huge mindset or obstacle to overcome. You know, so when we're trying to do anything, if you don't have that confidence, it's super hard to feel comfortable. It's hard to feel that success. So I would say when you come and show up that Sunday morning, that's where you have to be careful of, you know, just to not be overconfident. Don't be cocky, but have that confidence like, I'm supposed to be here. God wants me here. I'm going to do my best and it's going to be good. I mean, have that confidence that, yeah, I'm going to find my groove. I'm going to, you know, hit the pocket, and it's just going to be, you know, that confidence that that's why I'm here. And, you know, you just have that, you know, attitude, but not, again, to be overconfident, over cocky, where, you know, you're just, you know, everyone's going to listen to me and I'm going to be wonderful. But it's going to be that confidence that, you know, that we've practiced, we've rehearsed, we're going to do this. And so confidence is huge, and definitely have that attitude, because God's going to, you know, supply that confidence, you know, as the more you practice, the more that you know, just get into the word, into his spirit, that he's going to give you that boldness, that courage, that confidence that everything's going to go well. And number one, I would say, give your worship, your playing to him. Let him take it off your hands. You know, devote everything that you have to your playing, devote everything to, you know, that particular Sunday's worship set, and say, God, I've done everything I can. Here you go. Because the moment you know, feel like I have to own this, I have to, you know, it's on me, that's when it's going to start to go sideways. It's almost like that sand analogy. The more you hold on to it, like you take a sand and squeeze it tight, the more it's going to come out of your hands. And so the more we can just let go and say, you know, God, take my playing, take all the hours I spent practicing, take all of the worship set, and it's yours. Take it. That's going to be the perfect situation, because he's going to be able to take your playing, take the worship team, and run with it and do whatever he wants to do, because obviously his plans are better than ours. So the more we give it to him, the more he's going to make it beautiful, make it awesome, make it amazing. The Spirit's going to be able to flow better, because we're not hanging on to, you know, this is our worship set, this is going to go the way we want. Take that off and go, whew, no way. It gets screwed up when we hang on to it. God does his best work when we hand things over to him. So I would say, number one, just be in that mindset that, God, I've done everything I can, and it's no longer mine. It's yours. It's your worship service. It's your set. It's your, you know, your time, and your people are going to be able to worship you, because we're out of the picture. I've heard this expression, clear the stage, which means, you know, Lord, don't let them see us. Don't let them see the instruments. Don't let them see the people worshiping up, you know, on the stage. Well, I mean, you know, to the point where we're leading them in worship, but they should be able to see him, not, you know, the musicians and everything else like that. So that whole thing is, you know, giving it to him, letting him do what he wants, and saying, you know, like football, here you go, here's the ball. You do what you do, Lord, because you do that best. So guys, today, hopefully you're able to take those 5 things and incorporate that into your life, into your mindset, into just the Sunday morning, or whenever you guys have your worship set, just to allow the Spirit to flow through you better, because your mind is right, your spirit's right, and, you know, hopefully the worship set will go right. Okay, guys, so hopefully that was helpful. You know, let me know if there's any other tidbits of information, any things that you have learned through your years of playing worship, to be able to throw it down and, you know, edify us through your comments. So definitely feel free to throw those in the comments section. Okay, guys, I'm Bass Play 12, or Mitch, as you guys know me. I'll catch you in my next video. Gonna get up,